in the coming few years, most engineers will rely heavily on AI to build software, whether they're choosing to or forced to by their companies. Agents will produce code. Other agents that are stateless and contextless will review that code. The whole thing will be put in loops, and the loops will call other loops to produce and review code and produce and review code and to build the software eventually. And unfortunately, engineers will be out of the loop, figuratively and literally. Most of the code that will be produced will be unreadable by engineers. Some say that that is not a problem. I think it's a major, major problem for reasons to come. Of course, the product, the final product that is produced by these loops are supposed to be consumed by what? By humans, us, right? We don't build products for other machines, right? We build it for ourselves to consume it, to solve a problem. And as this is being put to the test, actual humans using it, bugs will arise, performance issues will arise, concurrency issues will arise, and the engineers will have no choice but go back to the loop to fix those. Well, they can try, but once they look at the code, they don't even know where to start, because the loops ended up creating their own frameworks, their own libraries, their own abstractions that nobody ever heard of, because that's just an inevitability, right? At this point, the agents will think, oh, to be more optimized, to be more efficient, to be this and that, to produce faster, I need to create this thing, and it will create it, and it will start using it, and absolutely no engineers will understand what's going on there. You can prompt, you can try to block it, but eventually something like that will be produced, and then you look at that and you don't understand any of them, so you'll be forced to go back to the loop to fix the bugs, because guess what? The loop has since lost the context. I mean, you can store the entire context, but that will cost more money. And that's big tech companies will love that, of course, if you spend more money storing more context. So you have to give it more context. Like, hey, by the way, you built this, remember 5 months ago? Well, yeah, I do. And we'll try to consume the whole context, trying to remember. That will take time. It will tell it, hey, there's a bug here, and we'll try to find it. And guess what? It found it and fixed it. But it's not that easy, because in the process of finding it, it broke something else. The reviewer, which is another agent, found it and then proposed another solution, which then broke something else. And then we get into this loop of things that are breaking the test that hopefully the agents will wrote, and then everything will pass, and then you're shipping. But guess what? New things will arise. As the human actually tests this product, you'll discover things that you never run into before. So you go back to the loop. And you were forced to go back to the loop because we don't have a choice. We're like the workers in the Titanic engine boilers. We're just shoving these tokens into the Titanic's boilers just to produce the code, just to produce a solution where we took what is a proud skill, the pride of writing software, a pride of troubleshooting and understanding that I look at the error message. I don't know how many of you remember this, but if you actually build software and the customer of your software that you're proud of showed you that first of all, you're very proud that you actually built that product. So a customer using that is just amazing, because you see your product on the web. The second thing, if you actually built the software and the customer shows you an error message, you're not gonna be surprised. If you are a really good engineer, you're not gonna be surprised. You're just gonna be interested because you know exactly that error message. You put it in place for that, for a specific reason. And you can almost envision where in the code that is. And then you can, that is the beauty of troubleshooting, guys. And this is being robbed from us. I'm so pissed because you look at that, because we have these discussions at work all the time. I look at an error message and then all the collaborators, the teams, they can guess how a customer got into this. Oh, maybe they're using this version of an operating system that is setting this value as a null. Maybe that context isn't available. Maybe, they did this request before of this. We start kind of guessing, if you will, what could happen, but we almost know that I know how this happened. In few years, that is no longer the case. We're gonna get into an error, a bug, a concurrency issue, a null field because of two queries, two requests writing each other's, stumbling on each other. You think AI can, or LLMs can have a context of all of that? Maybe it can. I hardly think so. I think at some point we will become faster in finding things because we just know the context. It's this, a human brain is just different. We don't predict next step, next token. We don't work like that. It's one snapshot. I look at the system, I know exactly what's wrong. I don't know how. Nobody does. If you ever wrote software, you know that if you run into an error, if you actually wrote everything, not you use some library that throws the error, that you don't know how it works. When I say wrote the software, you understand everything that is in your stack. Already we have few engineers that do that. We have a lot of people that copy frameworks, use ready-made frameworks, and then and I was against that since day one. Those who follow my main channel might know that. Like, I understand that, but if you actually built the framework, or you have the person who built the framework with you in the team, that's also fine. You cannot know everything, of course. Then that they would know. Like, oh, that SQL error happens because you specified a hint to the query, but that index doesn't exist. Well, wait a minute, how does that index doesn't exist? And now you start thinking, oh, is that database created but not upgraded? Is that, did they drop the index? Did they do an operation that accidentally dropped it? Did they do a migration that dropped the index and they forgot to create? Things like that. You start thinking about all of that, and then we're missing all of that, and I'm pissed. For God's sake, you can use AI. Of course you can use it to do the grunt work. Find me what is the query that how do I create app locks in Postgres or what is it called, advisory locks? You think you can remember that? Okay, show me how to do that. Give me a sample. This is not any different than us 10 years ago looking up the same exact thing in Stack Overflow and copying that query and pasting it and looking up. I'm not going to memorize that. Nobody will. Nobody will memorize, oh, I have to query the PG locks table or whatever. It's like, yeah, you can, of course, if you want to do that, you can memorize, but very few people memorize that. I'm not telling you memorize everything, but these grunt works, like how does DB2, IBM DB2, where is the table that stores raw locks, or how can I view all the locks in a particular table, right? Or does DB2, when I insert a table, does it acquire shared lock on the table? Things like that. The AI The LLM will tell you the answer. Of course, I don't trust it. But sometimes these days, it will tell you that, hey, this is the link. And we click in that link. I read, where is this coming from? Is it an IBM official doc? If it's a blog, I say, maybe that's right. If it's IBM official doc, then there you go. I found it. I read the whole document, or I read the doc, and I have my answer, right? So it's a shortcut to get you faster to your answer. Just like we used to do with Google search. Well, nobody was against searching in Google, right? It's the same thing. Nobody's against searching. I'm really against letting you be out of a loop. Don't be out of a loop, guys. Don't be out of a loop. Just don't let this skill that you have, the beauty of troubleshooting, be dulled out by someone who just writes everything for you and you assume everything is right. Unless you don't care about software engineering. In that case, you're free to do whatever you want. It's an art form. It's like no different than having AI generate a picture for you, an art, and calling that art. What's the fun in that as an artist? What's the fun in that? Yeah. So, if anything, I'm going to end this video by saying this era that is coming is actually might be a good thing. It will be a breath of fresh air because it's going to produce so much junk that nobody going to be fixed. Even the loops will get stuck in the loops trying to fix all this crap. They won't be able to, because eventually it's going to get large and large and large and large, and it's just going to lose that context. And it's going to be a very, very, very scary thing. But for those engineers who still kept those beautiful skills sharp, their troubleshooting, their database fundamentals, their backend fundamentals, the networking, they know all of that thing. They don't take the word of what some random next token product told them. They verify. They see if it resonates with them. They see if it's the best solution. Don't take humans out of the loop. Don't take engineers out of the loop. Be in the loop. It's okay to produce code, although I'm also against it. But let's be human. Let's get back. Let's get back. See you in the next one, guys.